Now Israel loved Joseph above all his sons, for he had conceived him in his old age, and he made him a tunic woven of many colors. And his brothers, seeing that he was loved by his father more than all his sons, hated him, and they were not able to speak peaceably to him. Then his brothers went to pasture the flock of their father at Shechem. And Israel said to him, "Your brothers are pasturing the sheep at Shechem. Come, I will send you to them." And the man said to him, "They have gone away from this place, for I heard them saying, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" Therefore Joseph continued on after his brothers, and he found them at Dothan. And they saw him from a distance before he approached them, and they were contemplating killing him. And they said one to another, "Behold, the dreamer approaches. Come, let us kill him and cast him into the old cistern. And we will say, 'A wicked wild beast has devoured him.' And then it will become apparent what his dreams will do for him." And Reuben heard this, and he freed him from their hand and said, "Let us not take his life." And Reuben said to them, "Do not shed blood, but cast him into this cistern, which is in the wilderness, and keep your hands harmless." But he said this, wanting to rescue him from their hands, so as to return him to his father. And so, as soon as he came to his brothers, they stripped him of his tunic, which was woven of many colors, and they cast him into an old cistern, which held no water. And sitting down to eat bread, they saw some Ishmaelites, travelers coming from Gilead, with their camels, carrying spices and resin and oil of myrrh into Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, "What will it profit us to kill our brother and to conceal his blood? It is better that he be sold to the Ishmaelites, and that our hands not be defiled, for he is our brother and our flesh." His brothers agreed to his words, and when the Midianite merchants were passing by, they drew him from the cistern and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver.
Remember the marvels the Lord has done. When the Lord called down a famine on the land and ruined the crop that sustained them, he sent a man before them, Joseph, sold as a slave. Remember the marvels the Lord has done. They had weighed him down with fetters, and he was bound with chains, till his prediction came to pass, and the word of the Lord proved him true. Remember the marvels the Lord has done. The king sent and released him, the ruler of the peoples set him free. He made him Lord of his house and ruler of all his possessions. Remember the marvels the Lord has done.
Listen to another parable. There was a man, a landowner, who planted a vineyard and surrounded it with a hedge and dug a press in it and built a tower, and then he leased it to farmers and went abroad. Then when the time of the fruits drew near, he sent his servants to the farmers to receive its fruits. And the farmers apprehended his servants, and they beat one and killed another and stoned another. Again he sent other servants, more than before, and they treated them similarly. Then at the very end he sent his son to them, saying, "They will revere my son." But the farmers, seeing the son, said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and then we will have his inheritance." And apprehending him, they cast him outside the vineyard, and they killed him. Therefore, when the Lord of the vineyard arrives, what will he do to those farmers? They said to him, "He will bring those evil men to an evil end, and he will lease his vineyard to other farmers, who shall repay to him the fruit in its time." Jesus said to them, "Have you never read in the Scriptures, 'The stone that the builders have rejected has become the cornerstone. By the Lord has this been done, and it is wonderful in our eyes. Therefore I say to you that the kingdom of God will be taken away from you, and it will be given to a people who produce the fruits of it." And when the leaders of the priests and the Pharisees had heard his parables, they knew that he was speaking about them. And though they sought to apprehend him, they feared the crowds, because they held him to be a prophet. Dear brothers and sisters, today is Friday of the second week of Lent. We gather 16 days into this holy journey, met by a God who turns rejection into redemption. Picture Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold for silver. Hear the psalmist sing of marvels born from chains. See the vineyard parable of Jesus, the Son slain yet exalted. These readings are not distant tales. They are a divine thread weaving suffering, trust, and triumph into God's plan. Lent is our 16-day call to see his marvels amid our own struggles. Step into Genesis 37. Joseph, Israel's favorite, wears a tunic of colors, sparking envy. His brothers seethe, plot his death. Here comes the dreamer, let's kill him, toss him in a pit. Reuben spares his life, but Judah sells him to Ishmaelites for 20 silver pieces. Stripped and betrayed, Joseph's cast down, yet God's hand lifts him unseen. 16 days into Lent, where's our pit? That wound from a friend, that trust broken, Genesis whispers, God's working even now. Psalm 105 takes up the song, "Remember the marvels the Lord has done." Famine strikes, but God sends Joseph ahead, sold, shackled, his neck in iron. Till his word proved him true, it says, the king freed him, made him master. From cistern to throne, God's promise holds. 16 days in, Lent is our memory. Where's our chain, that burden we bear, that weight we endure? Psalm 105 calls, look back, he redeems. Then the parable in Matthew stings. A landowner builds a vineyard, sends servants, beaten, killed. He sends his son, they'll respect him. Instead they say, he's the heir, kill him, take it all. Cast out, slain, yet Jesus quotes, the stone rejected becomes the cornerstone. The kingdom shifts to the fruitful. 16 days into Lent, where's our rejection? That good we spurned, that call we dodged. Jesus asks, will you bear fruit? These readings aren't stray pieces, they're God's story unfolding. Joseph's betrayal in Genesis mirrors the vineyard son's death, both rejected, both raised by God's will. Psalm 105 bridges them, singing of marvels that turn suffering to glory. Lent is our 16-day lens. Joseph's pit prefigures Christ's cross, and both promise triumph. They're together because they reveal God's way through envy, through death. He builds his kingdom, asking us to trust the cornerstone. Saints guide us here. Saint Gregory of Nyssa, born around 335, knew rejection, exiled by emperors, mocked by kin for his faith. Yet he wrote of life's ascent, seeing Joseph's rise. God turns the pit to a peak, trust his mystery. He'd say, Lent is your climb, embrace the marvels. Then Saint Catherine of Siena, 1347, a girl of 25 siblings, scorned for visions, she faced popes, nursed plagues. She saw Christ's vineyard, the rejected son reigns, serve him, not self. She'd urge, Lent is your fruit, love through the pain. Gregory sought the heights, Catherine bore the cross, they're not shadows, they're lights, pointing us to God's plan. So friends, 16 days into Lent, this Friday of the second week, these readings summon us. Joseph's trust, Psalm 105's marvels, Jesus' triumph, they're our path. Lent is our time to endure like Joseph, sing like the psalmist, yield like the vineyard's new tenants. Saint Gregory and Saint Catherine stand with us, Gregory with his mystic hope, Catherine with her fiery love, calling us to see God's hand. We've faced pits, yes, but the cornerstone holds. Let's trust, remember, and walk to Easter, marveling at his works.